All right. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get rolling. I'm out here in California. Got to hang out with Catherine. Got to hang out with Ross this week, and I'm at Pete's house right now. And I'm only going to be on for a little bit because I got to go catch a plane to get home because I have only been home for 2 days in the last 3 weeks, which used to be really fun 25 years ago, but it's not that fun anymore. Although seeing my friends is always fun. So today we're talking about building a life and not just a business. So I'm going to give you a quickie on my thoughts real quick, so I'm only staying on for a little bit, and Pete will be on a little bit to take over. Um, I spent 40 years chasing money. 40 years chasing money. And I was taught as a young kid, Mitch, work 80 hours a week, you'll be hugely successful. And they were 100% right. I was successful. Yay. But what they don't tell you is you're going to miss your life. And I cannot tell you, you guys probably heard the story, but I cannot tell you 5 things that I've done with my children. And my children are in their 40s, so those days are come and gone. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote my book, The Big Lie. It's one of the reasons why I'm on a mission to teach people how to create a freedom-based life, not a money-based life. Because the reality is, 1% of the people hit the $1 billion, the multi-million dollars. That's 1%. That means 99% of you are not going to hit that. I'm not saying not to try, but I'm trying to teach people to do it in a more structured life. So to give you a couple tips on that. First of all, time blocking is a must. If you do not time block, you are missing the boat on freedom. And the only reason why, and I tell people this all the time, I do 60 hours worth of work a week. I just do it in 30 hours. And I do that because I'm a master time block. If you look at my calendar from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, every hour is booked. Even if I have personal time for myself, I block that out. If I want to play my guitar, I block out an hour so I can play my guitar. But here's what I definitely don't do. I get home at 5 o'clock, 5:30. I'm not perfect, by the way, so I'm not going to preach that I'm perfect at this. But my phone goes away. And because at that point, it's my family time. Not just my wife and my dog and me, but it's still my family time. And what I've learned from doing that over the past 4 years, which is when I started doing all this on a very structured mindset, it gave me my life back. And the reality is you can sell homes at a high level and still have a life. You just maybe not be using the correct strategy. You might be using a strategy that I call the old school strategy. As a lot of you know, I teach this modern team model where, you can sell 40, 50 homes a year, but work 30 hours a week. And that's freedom. Ultimately, I have 4 companies right now. It took me till I was 60, again, to understand how to run a business, not the business running me. So I want you to really look at your life. If you're one of those guys like everybody on this panel is, where we're full steam all the time, and understand that your most important job is mom, dad, brother, sister, daughter, son. Those are your most important jobs. And my kid, grandpa, pops. I love being pops. I do that to my grandson. He tries to do. He goes like this. It's hysterical. But anyways, so the point is if you build a life that doesn't work for you and you're working for that instead, you're not really building a business. You're owning a crappy job. And, I did that the only reason why I'm an expert on this is because I did it for 40 years. I was that guy for 40 years working 80 or 100 hours a week until I realized that I missed my life. And it took me till I was 60. I was just talking to a friend of mine this morning because I made a post about this earlier today, knowing we were going to have this conversation. And he was in the corporate. He was the first IPO. It was them and Netscape back in the internet days. And he made a ton. And then he was chasing the next IPO. And then at 47, he realized he was missing his kids grow up. Same story. Our lives are so parallel, or maybe paralyzed because. But maybe that was before you slipped. But the reality is, at 47, he realized, wait a minute, I'm missing my entire family chasing money. So my slogan in my book is stop chasing money and start chasing freedom. And start looking at your life more of a freedom-based business versus a chasing money-based business. And we all do it. It's part of me. I know everybody here is hardcore. We all chase money. And the problem is, and this is from someone that's a lot older than everybody else here, except for Richie. Richie's 100 years old too, is if you're chasing money, you're going to forget to live your life. And I've seen it over and over and over. I have so many friends of mine that are in their 60s that are entrepreneurs. We had these conversations, very deep conversations, on the pain that we're all in from missing our lives chasing money. And I'm not telling you to not chase money, just chase it more efficiently. I know more now about business than I ever knew. Like I did not know 20 years ago how to do this. Right? No one taught me this stuff. And that's when you're an entrepreneur, you're out there, you read about it, you see it, but it doesn't mean you implement it. And I talked to him when I lost $80 million, $82 million in 2000. I should have learned then. I chased money for 22 years, 21 years at that point. And then all of a sudden, it was gone, every penny. And then I went right back on the road chasing money again. So that's my point of view. Time blocking, though, it starts with time blocking. If you can master time blocking, you can be way more efficient in your life and build your life. And when you go home, don't be that person at 9 o'clock at night. Yeah, I know. No, I know sometimes you have an emergency, you have to deal with shit. I get that. But the reality is if you're at dinner, shut your phone off. If you're playing with your kids, wait till they go to bed. Right? And then you want to get back on work, wait till your wife goes to bed. Do your stuff when everybody else is sleeping so you're not missing that time, because this is a quote from Pete Middleton, and I love this quote. How did children spell love? Time. Time. If you're not giving them time, they will regret that later on. Right, go ahead, Ross. Why don't you go ahead and take over?
Man, that's tough to follow, Mitch. You hit the nail on the head on every aspect of that because really the message I wanted to talk about was one and the same. If your reason, if your why is to chase money, you will never be satisfied because even if you are the richest person in the world, there's still another dollar to make. And especially in our American culture, there's never enough, right? There's always the next new thing. There's always something bigger, better, more awesome that we can go after. And once we get it, we're going to be so happy, right? And then we get it and we're like, oh, well, I guess it's not that cool. I'm going to go after the next thing because that's going to give me fulfillment. And when you live like that, you're just, you're chasing the wind, right? Money comes and goes. We all know it. We all make a paycheck and then magically it goes away next month, right? I mean, that's the nature of money. It's always going to spend. It's always going to go away. It's a vapor. It'll evaporate right in front of you. And then, it's our chase to just replenish it really. So for me, I'll just kind of go on another tangent. For what I found is the best principle is building real relationships built that are around your core values. And I found that when I've done that in business, you get positive culture, you get positive results, and you get positive actions. And if you align yourself with the right people, whether it's another person or just or hundreds of people, that's when special things happen because you can all find yourself working in one direction. You're in one boat, all rowing at the same time in one direction, which is powerful, right? I think the way that most books will sum it up is the power of the sun heats the whole earth, right? And we can sit in it and we can get a nice tan like Lurchie, looking nice and tan, Lurchie. We can get it, it only gives us a nice little sun glow, right? But if we were to harness all the energy of the sun and magnify it right onto our bodies, like we'd be vaporized in a second, right? And if we can get laser focused and send all of this energy that we're expending across, on a wide platform and get really focused in on what matters and what's going to move the needle and do it with the people that we love and we want to build into, that's when we get positive results. And that's a life worth living. I've found that the richer the person is, the more people they had to step on to get to the top, right? And that ruins relationship. If you're willing to break relationship, you can get any dollar you want. You get anything you want because you're only serving yourself and you're not building into, in my opinion, what matters because there's so much more to live for. So if you'd like to live a life, I think if you can implement those core values, those actions, those thoughts, that's what I'll leave you with. But it's fairly simple. Your treasure's where your heart is. And if your treasure's in money, your heart's chasing after money. If your treasure's in building people up, building relationship and being positive, those things will be in your heart and that's what will come out to. What you put in comes out. So just take care of yourself and make sure you're emulating who you really want to be. That's all I got.
That was really good. Mitch, come back. Mitch, you there?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I had to go get a plug from my computer because it's going to die. Yeah, great stuff, Ross. I mean, that's really, it's not rocket science, right? I will say one more thing to add into that I didn't say because I wanted to say this. If you want to have a book that changes your life, read the book E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. It's the one book that taught me about relying on other people. I was that micromanager type of guy for years, and I can't tell you the story about how I found out because it's probably not appropriate, but it's pretty funny. But of course, nothing I say is really appropriate, right? But the reality of that book changed the way I look at things because not only do you have to hire people, right, you have to trust those people to do their job. And if you're hiring people and micromanaging those people, you still didn't build a business. So read that book, E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Make sure it's that one because it's the best business book I read. It's a simple book to read. I read it and understood it after my first try, which for me, I have to read a book 5 times to actually get a message. So I got it right away, and it hit home really, really hard.
You know, Mitch didn't ride on the short bus because he's short. Just remember that.
It's the only one I have the steps that I can actually reach. Let's go over to Catherine.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, comment ça va? So, I do not think I came to a point where I actually know how to build a life, not just a business. I don't chase money because I want more. I chase money because I think I'm always worried I won't get enough to survive for my kids. So it's a little bit of a different way of acting, which is not good. The one thing I think I do to help my fun life, is that I book vacations, quite a few vacations a year. But otherwise, this time blocking thing is like asking me to go to the moon. And I suspect for other realtor out there, they feel the same way. And I actually bought this. I think, Craig, I don't know if you mentioned this little 5, 10, 30 minutes little block. I don't know if you can see it.
Dave
But I
Lawson.
bought it.
Dave Lawson did it.
Who did?
Dave Lawson.
Okay. Well, I bought it and I did it one time and it's out of the window. So I know you guys are right. It's not, I don't think, in my DNA, but I do need to learn to have more of a life. The other thing I've been successful at doing is hiring assistants. So I have 2 assistants and I am getting better at delegating and not micromanaging. So slowly but surely, but I definitely would prefer to hear more about everybody else because I do need to really learn how to do this better. So here we go.
That was good.
Yeah, and Catherine, I'm glad to hop on a call with you and actually have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
Because when you've lost the amount of money I've lost, I have that fear all the time of running out of money, right, and not being able to feed my family. And it's just me and Jeanette. We're little people. We don't need a lot of food. My dog eats more food than I do. But the reality is you can still do that. This is my messaging to people. You can still do that. You can still make as much as you want to do. You got to set the rules. So in real estate, we're a reactive industry, right? Which I don't believe in reactive business. I believe in proactive business. And I love Pete's voicemail. If you call Pete's voicemail, it's like if it's after 6 o'clock, I'll call you the next business day. He sets the rules. I used to tell my customers, you get me from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, Monday through Saturday. Sunday is my family day. If you can't appreciate that, I'm the wrong realtor for you. Never lost a customer. You set the rules. Don't let them set the rules. Because if you let them set the rules, they beat the crap out of you. They run you ragged. Let's go over to Lurchie.
Look at Lurchie's on. Lurchie's been on video. He's been on TV. He's been at Eagles games. He has all types of stuff. So to build a great life, look at Lurch. He's smoking cigars. I mean, he's in restaurants. It looks like he's the Phantom Diner, right? At this point. Go ahead.
Okay, so Ross, you made a comment. Pete, you'll understand this. Look at my hand colors. You'll know what I've been doing. It's called golf. You wear the golf hand. And Pete had challenged me this year. He says, get out on that, look at the cost of what your course costs you and then average it down and get in there. And one of the things that I've said is I turn my phone off now when I'm on the course, unless I'm having pictures and sending them to friends. I don't do those bad things anymore. And my wife even, we were at an AI event yesterday and she was talking to some very successful agents that are out there. And she's like, I have a question for you. Do you shut your phone off at some point? And they're like, yes. And we were on our way driving back. She goes, I'm going to challenge you to just, when you walk in the house, don't be that big bear. Just walk in the house and turn your phone off. She dropped another word because it's a Philly flowering thing. She says, just turn it off. She's like, what's the difference? If you need a burner phone so we can call you, fine. I'm your burner phone. I'm usually with you or not. Or just don't look at the phone. Don't look at the texts. Do whatever else you want to do. Send 1,000 friends on Facebook or to somebody else. Do that, but don't look at those things because it only frustrates you and upsets you. You can't replace those things. You can make money. You can't create memes. There was an interesting line the other day. Matter of fact, I went to a memorial. It's a foundation. Greg McDonald, who was the vice president of financials for the Eagles. He died about a year and a half ago in his early 40s. And the tagline is be where your feet are. He was a huge hockey guy. It's be where your feet are. You can't be somewhere where you're else and be where your mind's at, be in your present. We say it, but I found that interesting because he was a huge hockey guy. We always talk about going where the puck is, but you can go where the puck is, but you got to stay on your skates. You can't be off your skates. There's that thin edge that you're on, and you could fall off that edge or lose that edge at any given point, and you lose the whole play. That's the problem. We get lost in, we're so busy at standing or running that we lose our edge, and we're slipping, and we don't even know we slip. And that's one of the things until you bang into the boards and you have a wake-up call saying, what the freak did I just do? Why did I do that? Don't live in regret. There's a lot of those things here, and at my point where I said before, I'm recreating myself. In the past 4 years with EXP, I blew my world the freak up. I decided I didn't want to be the old person I was. I didn't want to be the thing I was. I didn't want to be in that snow globe that I was. And in that process, it's not easy. I mean, I got called out by my wife 37 years last night in front of people. She goes, now they can do it. Why can't you? And I'm like, and then they're all like texting me this morning, turn your phone off. But you know what? You never know who's going to teach you a lesson. This is all a lesson. I got schooled. We all get schooled. The point is that if you die tomorrow, you're not going to know it, hopefully. The people are going to remember what you didn't do with them. And there's where the challenge comes in. If you were to go back and look at yourself when you were 18 years old, do you think you're living the wildest dream that you thought? The point is you're probably farther along than you were where you thought when you were 18 and what you were going to be. All right. So you didn't do bad. The problem is you kept moving the bar, which is great. That means you're going. So live in curiosity, live in abundance, but learn to say no. And one of the great books, I'm telling you, the Road Less Stupid. Pete shared it to me. Man, I drive it. It is the dumb tax. You lose money, but you lose time too. I turned $2 million of listings down in the past month, in the past 2 weeks. I even used ChatGPT to do a listing better. And I said, what are the odds of this thing selling? It said less than 8%. I said, am I going to bet on something that I'm 92% going to spend money and time and energy on somebody and lose? No. And I called him that. I told him that. Some agent took it, but she hasn't had a listing in 6 months. I looked at her inventory. But you got to be willing to do that. ChatGPT will help you clear your head. I'm telling you, trust me. And mind block and do your blocking. Mitch, you're absolutely right. ChatGPT will actually help you do it. I was with Bruno and Stacy, that you guys know, and friends of ours. He literally has his ChatGPT has an upgraded version, which is like $200 a month. I don't know that yet, but when I get it, I'm going to share it. When I tell you guys what it is, when he shares it with me, it blocks his stuff out and it will not let him put things in there. It won't let him do it because the ChatGPT is in charge of having the block. He can't do the block. So if you take the elimination, you take the temptation out. If you like ice cream and Oreos at night, don't have ice cream and Oreos in your freaking house. You understand? You're not going to eat them at night unless you got to get in the car. You got to go to the store. So eliminate what you can't change and all of a sudden it'll happen. So that's what I've been doing. I've just been listening to everybody, listening to you guys, learning to say no. And no's not easy, but it is definitely liberating to finally say to somebody, no, no, sorry, can't do that. It's not in my wheelhouse. Nope, sorry, you don't fit me. No, no, no. Because before, people want to suck your energy. Everybody on here wants to be better. And that's our problem. We're their energy. They're sucking our blood. They're a vampire. Who gave them that right? They're not. And that's where I'm at that point. I just say, no, the wall goes up, and no, you can't. So all you guys I'll share time with. Everybody on the call I'll share time with. But if you're a bloodsucker, sorry.
No, you have to. That's a good point. You have to protect your time, you guys. And I love ice cream and Oreos. So
Me too.
right when
Oh
Lurch
man,
said that,
I love
started
hold on,
salivating.
the pumpkin spice girly things that are coming out this time of year. Was it the orange box? Raise your hand. How many people love those things? Oh man, as a kid, I'd eat a whole sleeve of those suckers.
Yeah. So I think the big thing, we all got into real estate for freedom.
Yeah.
And to control our time. And what ultimately ends up happening a lot of times, especially in markets like this, we're out of control and we don't know how to control our time or our schedules. And I'm going to share with you guys, and you may want to write this down. This is one of the greatest tips a person has ever taught me. And I learn something new every day. I don't know it all. I'm trying to navigate this life, my journey, just like everybody else. But get really good at pre-framing expectations. Pre-frame how you like to be communicated with. Pre-frame how things are going to work. Because then they can never come back on you and say, hey, you told me this, you did that. That's out the window. So that protects your time, because time is the most valuable asset that we have. Everybody has 168 hours a week of time. I don't care if you're a billionaire. I don't care if you're a bum. We all have the same equal time. And in real estate, especially with markets like this, you have to protect your time to do productivity type of events, I call them. Okay. So focus on what is going to set you up to give you your time back, to leverage things, and to make money. That's it. Don't focus on the other stuff. I know a lot of people love their glamour shots and are on social media. I'm not knocking that. I think that is important, but that's a small piece of time of 168 hours. If you sleep 8 hours a day, right? So that's seven days a week, that's 56 hours. You're still left with 112 hours. You can get more time. You just have to sleep faster. Maybe sleep only 6 hours, just sleep faster, right? And you can get your time back. But if you start really mastering your mornings, a lot of your anxiety and being overwhelmed will go away. And that's going to create the life you want. So wake up an hour earlier. Make that power hour about you, or working on you, or getting in the right mindset. Because we all feel that other people are so concerned with us. I got news for you. They're too busy with all their bullshit to be concerned about you. You're not under the microscope with them. And like I just said to Mitch, I said I gave up being responsible for other people's feelings and emotions a long time ago. I'll repeat that again. I gave up being responsible for other people's feelings and emotions a long time ago. All right? It's between me and me. So if you say, hey, I'm so busy that I have to answer the phone at 9 or 10 o'clock, that's your prerogative. Nobody took a gun and put it to your head and said you have to answer that phone call. It's because you didn't pre-frame how your business works. You didn't pre-frame your accessibility. You didn't pre-frame your communication level. And when you do that, it sets a bar and a boundary on how you do things. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I work on this all the time, you guys. But that was one of the greatest tips I ever received. So if you want to have a productive life, I know there's a lot of people out there right now. They're like, hey, I'm running out of resources. Things are flat. Things aren't selling. My listings aren't moving. Just shift your energy. Because if you are saying that dialogue to yourself all the time, mentally, that's what you're going to get more of. Yep. And write this one down. Some of the greatest listings that I've ever had success with were the ones I didn't initially take. So I'll say it again. Some of the greatest listings I've ever had and had success with are the ones I didn't initially take. Because I wasn't just gonna take a way overpriced listing and do the 4 Ps, you know, put up a sign, put it in the MLS, pray, and then put my feet up like all the other agents do, right? So you have to really look at it and say, how do I want to structure my business? Think about that statement right there. I didn't say, how do I want to structure other people's businesses? I didn't say, how do I want to structure my team's business? How do I structure my business? Because with a guy like Ross, who runs a huge organization, it starts with Ross. He's got to organize his own thoughts and his own journey before he can help others, right? It's like being on the plane. They don't say put on everybody else's mask first. They say put on your mask in case of emergency, then put on the other people's masks. Because if you pass out, you can't help other people. So always help yourself first. We're conditioned that that's selfish because a lot of us have been told that throughout our childhood, and it's emblazoned into our soul that if you do that, you're selfish or you're only focusing on yourself. Listen, guys, I got news for you. It's okay to focus on yourself. Let that trauma go. If you have to see someone, see somebody about that, but you got to let that go because you're never going to have a successful business unless you focus on you. What you believe is what you'll achieve. Plain and simple. And I know it's a tough time for people. You need a pep talk? Call me. I'm highly scheduled. I'm a professional. If I have a gap, I will get back to you. But if you call me and I have a set appointment, I'm not going to answer the phone. If you call me after 6, unless you're buying one of my luxury properties or selling a luxury property with me or buying an investment with me and doing bonus depreciation, which is the greatest gift from God since June, I'm not going to answer your call. And if you don't leave a message, that's your fault. Yeah. And that's it. It's plain and simple. Do you control your business or is your business controlling you? Because we're all in fear of, oh my God, if I don't answer the phone at 11:15, they're going to go with somebody else. Screw them. Let them go with somebody else. Because they're telling you up front that they're going to suck all your energy. They're going to take over your life. And then they're going to say, hey, Cam, I don't even respect you as a business person, so I'm not going to pay you this commission. Where you have to respond, well, did I not demonstrate I'm a professional and my professional fee is this? Let them explain to you why they can't pay you your professional fee. Because nobody likes that. Put them on the spot. I say that to people all the time. I say, so if I didn't demonstrate what I pre-framed to you that I was going to do to get your house sold, I know you didn't end up with the money you wanted. That's the market. That's not me. It doesn't say Middleton's knows the market or Middleton's in charge of the market. I wish it said that. But I say, then you tell me, based on what I did and demonstrated, what should my professional fee be? That's the hardest thing to say to somebody because they don't have the balls to say you shouldn't get 2.5% professional fee that we agreed on, because then they're going back on their word. Because you are hired to bring them opportunities for them to take advantage of. If they decide to take that offer, you're not the owner of the house. You're the facilitator, not the participant. They all think that we participate in everything. Like I said to a guy the other day, he said, can you do it for 1%? I said, I have a better program than that. How about this? I'll sell your house and I'll give you 50 grand out of my pocket when it sells. He's like, really? I said, no, really. Do you work for free? Nobody works for free. And guess what? When you get something for free, it's not all what it's cut up to be. Because who's going to put in the effort? Guys, you can all do this. You already took step number 1. You got on a collective Zoom with your time to better your journey, to learn, to get little tips that you can put into action to control your business and control your life. Otherwise, they will invade your space all the time, and you will resent your clients, and you'll resent your listings, and you'll resent everybody involved. And when you have resentment, that's bad energy. Bad energy feeds on bad energy. That creates more bad energy. That's it. We're in a masterful business that's evolving all the time. But if you're not in the right positive mindset, you're not going to be positive. And if you're not positive, your bank account's not going to get positive. You hear me? That's the key.
Yep.
We're all here. We're not talking about go out and recruit 1 million people. We're talking about how do you get productive today? How do you get productive this weekend? How do you get productive where there's a closing in October? And what do you have to do that? Get in the right mindset. You can all do this. Nobody's a rocket scientist. You know, Mitch and I aren't here conspiring, trying to figure out how we build a rocket in the backyard and shoot it off to the moon.
I thought we were.
We were trying that, but it didn't work. I threw him off the roof. He almost broke his ankle.
I did bounce.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That's my input today. Get fired up, get in the right mindset, control your business. It starts with you, it ends with you. Nobody can invade your space if you don't allow them to.
I do want to add something to what you just said, though, because it's important. Your resentment toward your customer is one thing, but what I learned from my beautiful wife is her resentment toward me was because I didn't have a grip on my business. And our relation is a great video. If you want to go to watch a video, it's about when we joined over at EXP and my wife got interviewed by Renee Funk. It's the only time my wife has been on video. Well, at least that was the first time.
In public.
In public. She
Yeah.
was terrified. And I said, just speak from the heart. I've had brokers reach out to me after they've watched it crying. Seriously, crying. Watch it. So go to my YouTube channel, put in Mitch Verback and then Jeanette, my wife's name, Jeannette, and watch that video. Your family resents you that your customers are before them. And we tell ourselves, well, I have to because that pays our bills. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. If your family's not number one and doesn't buy into your business, then everything falls by. It goes family, you, and then business. If your family doesn't buy in, everything's miserable. If you're not healthy, don't take care of yourself, you're miserable, you can't do a thing. Your business will follow you. But you have to put your priorities first. And it's not, I know this is backwards to what everybody thinks, but this is from Tony Robbins, not me, he told me this. But this is from, you got to have your business follow your family and you. Because if those two things are not in sync up top, nothing else goes. All right, Cam, you're up, bud. What have you learned in your 12 years of life?
That's what I was going to say. We're the youngins on this
Cam's
call.
like
Man.
the Doogie.
I'm learning. I'm
Cam's
always
like
learning.
the Doogie Howser MD of real estate. Go ahead, Cam.
It's true, you guys. It's true. There's so many things that we've already brought up that really hit the nail on the head. And one of those, and Catherine, one of the best parts of you being on here is you're so honest. And if you don't have something that could really change it, you're like, I'm here to learn too. And I love that because continuing to always be learning is how you're able to stay ahead of things. It's how you're able to do more. It's how you're able to continue growing. It's a mindset though, because a lot of us, at least in my experience, I've been doing this a long time now, and I feel like I got a pretty good grasp on how things work. And what we find out is that because things are always changing, you have no idea how it works, right? And you got to be surrounding yourself with the right people, always trying new things and continuing to grow. But the bigger part of that, and Pete, I loved your story about waking up a little bit earlier and really focusing on that power hour. Okay, story time real quick. Many, many years ago, before I got my license on my 18th birthday, so this was 20 plus years ago, what I was doing was nightclub photography in downtown Seattle, Washington. So I was going down to these nightclubs, raving and big all throughout the night. And they'd usually get out at 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m., right? And you'd walk down the streets, and it was always very interesting because you would exit the nightclubs at 4 a.m. in the morning. You're walking down the street, and you look up at these billion-dollar buildings in downtown Seattle, and the only lights that were on at that time were the penthouses. And I never really kind of connected it until many years later. What it was is that the people that are in the penthouses that are earning what most people or most of us want to be earning, they're up hours before everyone else even gets going. They have so much done that they've been able to complete that their day has been a success before most of us even were waking up, or in that case, I wasn't even going to bed yet. That was something to me that has stuck with me forever. And this topic that we're talking on today with building a life, not a business, just because you're working earlier, or maybe even though you're working more, the important part is what you're working on, not how much you're working. And what I mean by that is that in real estate agents, at least for the agents that are in our organization and that I'm coaching, there's like multiple stages of every agent, right? You have the beginning stages where you're just trying to make money, you're trying to get by. And I'm sure there's quite a few agents in this call today that are in that stage. And if you're in that stage, maybe take a call at 8 o'clock, maybe take a call at 9 o'clock. I understand we've all struggled, right? You got to do what you got to do to make it work for you. And that's really kind of like the first stage. And then the second stage is you got it figured out. You have some successful lead systems. And now you're too busy because the phone's is constantly ringing at 9 o'clock at night. And that changes how you're doing your life and your business. And I think a lot of the folks that were kind of giving their strategy on this call, that's what they were really focused on, is those agents that are too busy that need to restructure their life. Well, then there's actually the next stage of that, is that when you've restructured your life, you have other challenges that you find that you have to work through as well. And, part of what I've been going through the last 2 years has been that third stage. And there's been a lot of learning. But what I wanted to share with folks that are on this call, and maybe you are on that first stage or you're on that second stage where you're not busy enough or you're too busy and you're trying to build out a business. The key, and this is something that a lot of us miss out on. I know I missed out on it when I was, really going hard selling real estate, is creating a system that is duplicatable to your team leads. And what I mean by that is you can't have a system that you're the demigod, that you run everything. And the reason I believe that, and maybe I'm wrong here, you guys, like I said, I'm a youngin', I don't have everything figured out, and I don't have it all lined up. But the reason I believe that is my biggest year as an agent, I did over $50 million. I was rocking, man. We had 5, 7, 10 closings, personal deals a month going on. And that was the same years I got hit by that freaking car going 40 miles an hour, right? And I've told this story a couple times, but I got hit by that vehicle. I was on a bicycle. They hit me so hard, my shoes came off. I mean, I got evaporated by this car. Obviously blew up my foot. I couldn't walk for months. It was a moment in my life that I believe that I could have died. And that was the time for me personally that I made the decision. I said, hey, I got my family at home. I got everything that I've built. And it could have been gone like that because I never set up a system that was duplicatable, meaning that I had other people working the same exact system. So my point here, what I'm trying to get across is that when you are spending your time working and you're working on your business and you're growing your business, keep in mind that you do have to do sales. You have to spin the wheel. You got to do the work, but also make sure you're spending your time, right, on growing a business. And this takes time. You got to schedule time that you're able to grow a business that you can allow others to run for you, because there will be a time. It doesn't matter if it's, the age old of time or the clock, if that gets you, or maybe you get hit by a car, but there will be a time that you are no longer able to be the overall head honcho leader, and having a system that runs without you is going to be the difference. And it has been for me. Now, like I said, there's other challenges that come along once you start growing something that works when you're not absolutely working, right? Like Craig there, golf. I love golf, but it's also not as rewarding as putting in the work and helping people buy and sell houses and getting big commission checks. So I just kind of went the opposite way, where I wanted to have more personal time. And I found that I'm missing out on that satisfaction of actually being valuable, or as valuable as I can be. So like I said, there's always challenges. There's always things that you will learn and things that come up. What was some of the things I wrote down? The getting grounded, like you were talking about with the hockey thing. Every day you have to focus on being present, being where you are in your position, not letting the day get ahead of you. I think that's huge. Ross, you spoke in depth about relationships, and that's going to be the key, you guys. It doesn't matter where you are in your business. You have to build relationships with either your clients, with your team managers, with your business providers. Relationships are the key, and there's no substitute for work. So to build those relationships, it requires you to get out there. It requires you to make the call, build those connections. And you're going to find when you do that, you're going to be in the position that I'm in, where you're able to have that team around you or that tribe around you that they're able to give you the solutions to the hiccups that you haven't even realized are going to become a problem yet, because you're just not in that stage of business yet. That for me has been the biggest thing, is surrounding yourselves with people that are doing what you want to do in the way that you want to do them, so that you have a clear plan on a way to get there. Because we all think we're doing what's right? I mean, everyone thinks that every day they wake up, what they're working on is what they should be working on. And most of us are doing the best we can, but a lot of the times we don't know what we should be doing. We really don't. At least most of my agents, they think that they're just supposed to wake up, check their email, and exist. And it's like, no, there is a plan that if you work this plan, you will be able to build a duplicatable business that runs with or without you. And that is the key, in my opinion, to having the life in addition to the business, is being able to give it to somebody else, show them how you're doing it, and let them take off and run and have just as much or more success than you're even having. And that's just based on how hard they work it, right? You got to have a system that works. Children spell love with time. Wow. Pete, that's a good one. That's a good one, you guys. And that's something that you got to keep in mind too. Why do we make money? It's so that we can give our families, our kids, the life that we either didn't have or the life that they deserve, and the life that a lot of kids want or they didn't get was just having time. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. For me, I always wanted to go to Bora Bora, as dumb as that sounds. Always wanted to go there, man. Always. Went to Bora Bora, had the overwater bungalow. We stayed there for a week. And then I realized that wasn't it. That wasn't worth what I thought it was going to be worth. Ross, you pointed out this, man. You were like, you can chase all the shiny objects and you can get the fancy fast cars and all that stuff. But if you're not doing something that resonates with you and it speaks to you, it doesn't matter how much money you have, right? It really doesn't, you guys. And I know not everyone's been through this yet. If you follow these steps and you work your butts off, you will have this problem where you have more money than time. But when you get there, you realize the kids, the family, the life, vacations, being able to turn your phone off, those things are what actually make you happy, not making $480,000 this year. So that's what I got today. Just try to work on building a duplicatable process so that it's not just you that you're building yourself, you're building others, and you're building a business around you.
Yeah, good stuff, Kim.
Yeah.
And I will say, just to add into that a little bit, is we're sitting here lecturing you and all that stuff, but we strive for the same thing every single day. It's not, and we're not trying to we deal with these things. I mean, I will tell you that I really, for the first time in my life, I found freedom. I mean, except for when I didn't have a business and I was broke, but I had freedom. I just didn't have any money. But the reality is you completely control this. And that's the interesting part of what I find about the psychology of people. And Pete and I have these conversations a lot. We study people. It's a fascinating thing because Ross is completely different than Catherine. I mean, Catherine's much cuter. Ross, sorry. And I'm more different than Cam. I'm much younger than Cam mentally. And so all these things happen, and we sit there. And I will tell you the one thing, if I've learned anything over the years, and this goes to what you said, Cam, a lot of times we say we're doing this for our family. That's a lie. It's a lie. I told that to people my entire life. I'm killing myself for my family. I want to give my kids a better life. I want to take care of my wife, or my 7 wives at the time. But what the reality was, I was doing it for my ego.
Is your ego your amigo?
My ego is not my amigo. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I use that line every day when I talk to people, because when I talk to brokers talking about switching to EXP, it's the first thing I say. I said, look, before we can have an honest conversation about life, you have to check your amigo, cuz
your ego's not your amigo.
And good job. Yeah. And so I really want you to think about that. Are you doing this through your family, or are you doing this for your brain? And if you're really doing it for your family, come up with systems that are going to put you in place, and we'll help you. Everybody on this call is striving for that. I found it. It took me 41 years to figure it out, right? So I can save you lots of years by sitting down with you. And you guys all know I will individually get on a call with every single one of you anytime you want to help you, because that's the beauty that I have right now. My life is about impact. And if I can impact you in any way by helping you, that's why we do these calls. Everybody comes to these calls. We're all busy, but we take
We're
this
not
hour.
busy. We're professionally scheduled.
We're professionally scheduled. Yes, I'm not. I'm freaking busy. Look at this. He's professional. I'm a schmuck, but I'm a cute schmuck. But I will help you get this. People help you get this. All of us here will help you. That's why we come to this call every day. So, anybody else? Anything else you want to add before we hop up? I know we're 15 minutes early, but I don't have anything else to add. Cam?
I got one more. Other than obviously Pete and Mitch, you guys look great together. Ross, you said, how the sun heats the entire earth, right? Imagine if you could make a whole bunch of suns. Imagine if you could build unlimited suns, how hot you could make it. Just a thought.
Well, that's the leverage of EXP. I mean, we don't know we talk about EXP on here, but that's our life. Is we've leveraged. I have 2,000 suns under me. They're all glowing, and I'm trying to keep them glowing. Anyways, all right, we'll hop off a little early because I got to catch.
Well, I wanted to make one other point.
Except
and
for
this came from Gail DeMarco, and she said this one time when I was struggling with formulating my new team in Nashville, and I was definitely overwhelmed, you guys, because I was in a brand new area, and I didn't even know the streets around certain places. So imagine somebody just dropping you into a brand new area, and you have to make an impact and make money for your family. And how do you structure that? How do you do that, especially in the luxury market where people have grown up there and lived there and so forth? And I was saying one day to Gail, and Gail said, look, one of my coaches anchored me with this saying. And she said, and this is how I make every decision in my business moving forward. She said, am I making this decision or doing this for income, or am I doing it for ego? And the problem in real estate is a lot of us don't do it for income. We do it for ego. They'll look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, right? I'm the best. I did this. I did that. And when you really dig behind that, the people are broke or they're not selling anything, right? Because it's the false perception that they can easily manipulate, right? How many people do you know are top 1%? How many people you know are ABRs, CRAs, CMDs, SOBs, whatever all these letters mean, right? And all it is they're always putting their, and I'm not knocking them, they can do whatever they want. It's not my monkey, it's not my circus, right? But the point I'm trying to get across, and this is how I'm conditioning myself with my business right now, moving forward, because nobody's business is perfect. It's completely evolving all the time. And we're our harshest critics. I'll say that again. I think I pronounced my R. Harshest critics, right? I would say harshest critics. But ask yourself, before you take on anything, before you do anything, am I doing this to make income, or am I doing it to satisfy my ego? Before you make those decisions, because we all feel I have to do it this way or everybody's going to judge me. Nobody's that concerned with you. The people who are because they're projecting and they're not doing what they want. The other people aren't whatsoever. It's all in your mind. Go ahead.
One thing to add on that too, you guys. This is super cool, and this is something I recently discovered in my own life. The people that people do care about, like the celebrities, right? So you see the celebrities on the TMZ and you see them on Facebook and all that stuff. Everything that they're doing is scripted so that you see it. It's not real. They're living a character arc so that people follow them. And that's the thing, guys. You can live your own character arc. Make it up. Make your life the way you want it. And you show people what you want them to see. And that's what the celebrities do. They just show you what you want to see.
Yep. Yeah, and everybody on this call, I'm telling you, everybody has their own struggle.
Of course we do.
Right? So you never know what somebody else's struggle is. So just be kind to them, because you don't know what somebody else's struggle is going on right now in their life. And we're all trying to navigate this life and navigate this business, and it gets crazy at times, you guys. And if you need to reset, do the 10-10-10 rule. My 10-10-10 rule is take 10 minutes to reset, flip the script, change your mindset, and ask yourself, how important will this problem be 10 days from now, 10 months from now, or 10 years from now? And that'll change the significance of it, because we put so much emphasis on it and we put so much pressure on ourselves because we get caught in the emotion at the time. You know, like Jack Welch said, he said, it's just as easy to tell somebody to go to hell tomorrow as it does in the heat of the moment. So don't be reactive. Calm yourself down.
I love that.
Take your time, because you don't want to say things that you regret or that are out of alignment with your soul, because it's a reflection on your character and your integrity and who you are. Plain and simple. And it's tough to go back from that. And most people will not apologize. I've called people before and said, I am so sorry I lost my cool. I'm under a lot of pressure or whatever. I don't give excuses. I just say it's completely my fault, and this is what I learned from it.
Yeah,
and most people say, hey, I really appreciate you reaching out to me. Don't ever hang up on somebody. The weaker person hangs up the call. It's disrespectful. It's basically saying, I can't have a debate or a conversation with you, so I'm going to get off the phone and hang up because I'm a lesser person on this topic. Think about it.
That's great. I want to throw out something on that because I have a rule that been using for years now, which has really helped me deal with this stuff too. I've found so many people will drag a 1 minute thing into 3 days. And so it's kind of like your 10-10-10. I have a 5-minute rule. So I get mad. I know it's hard to believe I actually get mad at anything, right? Because all I do is laugh. But I get mad occasionally, usually at myself. But I get mad, I get upset, I cry, whatever it might be. I have 5 minutes to do that in. And at the end of 5 minutes, I can't change it. Now, if it's something I can change, then I'll work on what do I do to change it. But 90% of the time, it's things I can't change. So I get mad, get upset, whatever it is. 5 minutes later, I'm back. And I've seen so many agents, especially. I had an agent once, this is a great story. I watched her, we had 15 agents at the time, my birthday. I watched her walk around to every single agent. That's when agents actually came to the office. Every single agent, telling her the same story. For 2 hours, I watched her walk around, tell the same story to every agent. I called her in my office, and she goes, what's going on? It looks like, did somebody die? I mean, it was these big, dramatic, very animated conversation. She goes, no, I got a deal going south, and I'm trying to save it. I go, oh, okay. Yeah, it's been a week from hell. I go, well, let's look at that. I go, how many hours a day are you talking to this person that's a week from hell? She goes, well, I had to talk to him twice a day. I go, how long were those calls? She goes, 10 minutes. I go, and who else did you have to go? Well, I had to call the title company. How long were those calls? 5 minutes. And I had to talk to the mortgage company. How long was that call? 5 minutes. All right, so you talked for a half hour, and you dragged that into 7 days. And I see people do that all the time. You've got to if I'm really good at things besides time blocking, it's compartmentalizing. Like you can see me, and I can have the biggest fight. Like right before we got on this call, Pete and I had this unbelievable blow. We're on the rug, punching each other in the face because he's wearing a Red Sox hat, but he doesn't really like the Red Sox.
I'm unscathed, as you can tell.
Yeah, I got a black eye. See, he's bigger than me. What do you want? He's younger. But my point is you would never know 30 seconds later if I got in an argument with anybody. Never. If I can get the biggest blowout with my wife, which we don't do anymore because she just wins automatically, so why bother? I get the biggest blowout with my wife, and I have to go on a Zoom meeting. I'm going to be the happiest Mitch you'll ever see. You'll never see it because I'm able to compartmentalize. And when you use my 5-minute rule and you compartmentalize, it's a hard word to say 5 times fast. It gives you a whole sense of freedom in your brain. And when you have freedom in your brain, you're more creative, you're more productive, and you create more freedom.
Yeah, and another thing, you guys, too, and I'll just leave you with this because I want everybody to have a positive, successful day, and I've been working on this. So I'm going to share from my heart right now what I've been really working on for me personally is it's really easy to get caught up on a problem, right? Problems are problems, but we give the problem way too much power and credit. So just ask yourself, when you're dealing with a problem, and we're all going to have problems, but guess what? 99% of the time there's a solution. So you have to ask yourself, am I giving energy to the problem or am I going to give the energy to the solution? Because if you keep talking about the problem and you keep expending energy on it or retelling the story, it's going to grow. It's not going to be resolved. But if you took that same energy and you put it towards a solution, and you're solution oriented, it's going to solve the problem. So those are the things I'm working on as a human being, because I'm from Boston, right? And we're hard-headed and we have ego and we get emotional. And if you saw Good Will Hunting, that kind of explains it, right? But is it really solving the problem? So I've been working on that personally. When I feel I'm giving too much energy to something, or I'm going over and over and over, and this happened yesterday, you guys, and I am reflecting on it today. So today I'm going to take a different approach. I'm not going to be threatening or say, hey, I'm going to get after this person or this problem or whatever. I'm going to say, what is the solution to that? And you know something? There may not be a solution, and it's okay. I'm not here to resolve all the world's problems. I'm here to stay on my course, on what God mapped out for me, and to follow the course. Because it's already mapped out. You just have to do it. That's it. Yeah. Everybody on this call, I believe in you. I believe you can achieve it. I believe you can get an escrow today, tomorrow, this weekend, because I believe it. But you have to put it into action. Nothing happens in your living room. It happens putting yourself in the right environment to succeed. And you have to take action. Everything you want in life is just outside your comfort zone. But most people aren't willing to show up. Most people aren't willing to do it. And most willing people aren't in the mindset to take action. And if you do that and you get in the right mindset, things will magically appear to you and they'll happen. It happens all the time.
Yep.
Okay, so don't get even, get active.
Yep.
Okay?
And just remember this, I'll leave you this because we got to go. I got to get a flight. If nothing changes, nothing changes. It's that simple. Nothing changes, nothing changes. If you keep doing the same thing that you did this year and you didn't get where you wanted to be, next year will be no different. Make some changes.
And 5 years goes by like that.
Look at this. It was 64 years went by like that.
He even had hair before.
That's right.
So
hard to believe, right? All right, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you guys all next week.
Invite people, you guys. This is to help everybody's mindset, to help their life, to get balance. We're all in this together. You're not alone. All right? You're not alone. You may feel like that at times, but I can guarantee you anything you're going through, somebody on this mastermind has gone through it and they've figured out the solution. So lean on other people. Put down your guard. You're not in it alone. We can all do this together. We can all win together. And that's the best way to win.
I just feel like singing right now. Can we sing?
Oh, Mitch is going to sing Kumbaya. So listen, have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Everybody, sell. It's a great market. Make it happen.
Everybody, take
Au
care.
Have a great
revoir, à
weekend.
bientôt.
Bye, guys.
Merci beaucoup.